Well, hello.
Hello there.
Hi, welcome to Wine and Dynasty. If you're joining us for the first time, welcome. And if you're back for more from 2 weeks ago, welcome back. Wine and Dynasty is brought to you by Pop Culture Co-op.
Which is a network by women and gender expansive individuals to talk about pop culture.
All right, so on this show, Wine and Dynasty, we rewind it all the way back to 1980s Dynasty, and we're going to be recapping and commenting on it episode by episode. Right now, we're going bi-weekly, but soon, we'll be going weekly. So before we get started, why don't we tell everyone what we're drinking? What are you drinking today?
Well, I'll be really honest. Today's my first day producing the show, so I apologize in advance. I want to say self-taught, not really self-taught. Shout out to Hammy and Ham, aka Larita and Dara, for teaching me about how to use OBS. Maybe I shouldn't have just thrown you under the bus like that because this is going to be a terrible show. But so I will be drinking in my lovely cup today, which I still can't do that thing quite correctly. But I will be drinking
one of these days
a seltzer. That is correct. A non-alcoholic beverage.
That's right.
It's delightful. Has a little bit of caffeine for that extra jolt. But yeah, I will be drinking a seltzer today.
Oh, well, sometimes day drinkers need a break.
I definitely need a break.
I, on the other hand, will be drinking a nice hot tea with a little half of half in chai-infused rye.
Oh, and where did that chai rye come from?
From a very good friend from Kill Valentine. Val and Chaos made us up some rye, and here we are.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
We appreciate it. But not too much appreciation because we got to do a show. But thank you very much.
That's right. I'm only going to have one.
That's right. I'm allowed to have more than one today, though.
I mean, I got some seltzer over there as well.
That's true. That's self-care. Self-care. We're here for the self-care.
All right. So last week we did season 1, episode 2, Oil Part 2. And we saw Blake and Crystal Carrington get married.
We did.
In a very exciting wedding.
We did.
Very exciting. So this week we watched season 1, episode 3, Day Drinking.
Day Drinking. Y'all. See, this is why. Only one drink this time.
Just one drink.
So we've moved on. They had their wonderful wedding. We had Walter, our beautiful foghorn leghorn. He came in, swooped in.
There was a wedding crasher.
Little bit of a wedding crasher. And Matthew had his moment of truth. Mm-hmm. He was forced to decide, is he going to be a company man? Or is he going to branch out on his own?
And do the right thing for the little guy.
And do the right thing for the little guy. Be a wildcatter. So we're going to find out this week a little bit more. But as we join in to Blake and Crystal, now they're returning from their delightful honeymoon.
On their private jet.
Private jet, yes. Let's not forget the private jet. Very
pretty
important.
Spectacular.
Very important, yes.
Yeah.
Now, of course, let's talk about this, though. What is Crystal wearing?
Okay, so she's wearing a bikini top and a sarong. And so in this image, we're seeing her embrace Blake by one of the windows in his private jet. Mm-hmm. I guess when you have a private jet, every seat's a window seat.
This is true. You can sit wherever you want. You don't even have to wear a seatbelt.
It's fantastic. So she is dressed like she just strolled onto the jet fresh from a cabana, whereas he is fully clothed.
He is. But that might actually work out well for them because while they're sitting here on their private jet, having their beautiful romantic honeymoon.
A 6-week honeymoon.
6 weeks.
Which I enjoy my husband. He's lovely. But 6 weeks, that's a long time.
I would just like to point out that American human beings can't even get parental leave for 6 weeks, paid parental leave. Yeah. But these folks are just like, you know what? We're going to do a 6-week honeymoon. But that doesn't work out for them. Because while they're on the plane, Blake gets an unfortunate phone call. Oh, no. Now, let's also talk about this. 1981 phones on a plane.
A phone plane.
Phone plane. This is
like rich.
This is Monet. I know we keep talking about how much money these people have, but y'all, this is not like, oh, I just have my cell phone. I can pick it up, swipe my little credit card. This is here's your phone, Mr. Carrington.
On your private jet.
Yeah. Which, unfortunately, cuts their honeymoon short.
And Crystal's like, it's okay. I get it. Let's go in. I do think about that scene. The first thing I thought when I saw that scene was about how, I come from a long line of panickers, and so my mom is always telling me, when you travel, you need to wear a long sleeve button-down shirt in natural fibers, long pants, and lace-up shoes in case there's a plane crash.
So what I'm hearing is that Blake would survive, but Crystal would not.
Crystal would not. Like, she'd get burnt up. Like,
She would.
I mean, assuming they survived the plane crash. But
This is true.
some would say that's a sad way to live, like planning for plane crashes. But I think it's just
Listen,
good thinking.
if you have that much money, you want to survive to spend that money. I want to live to spend my money.
That's right.
That's
Safety
right.
never takes a holiday.
Exactly. But thankfully, they do make it back.
They make it back.
They make it back, and they are reunited with the amazing Fallon and her
Fallon, last week's kink queen.
last week's King Queen and her beloved boyfriend Jeff,
In their cute little tennis
and
whites.
their little tennis whites. Now, let's see here. So they're here. We're back. We're reunited, having fun.
And Crystal is clutching her kitschy tiki tchotchke.
Her tiki tchotchke. I can't even say it.
I
I'm not
know.
even drinking, and I can't even say it.
Yeah, kitschy tiki
Tchotchke.
tchotchke. That's a lot.
There we go. Which Fallon recommends that she has wired for a lamp.
It'll totally match
It'll
the decor.
totally match the decor.
In Carrington Manor. This is an interesting scene because as they're bringing in all of their belongings and the things that they picked up on their honeymoon, Joseph, who we'll remind you is the house manager.
We'll come back to him later.
Says something about how, Crystal's looking around at this big mansion that is hers now. She lives there, and she notices like, oh wow, it's like exactly the same. And Joseph says, that's right. We try to keep it exactly as it was, and then gives her a very pointed look. So he's really setting himself up in opposition of Crystal. Like, he wants her to know who runs things.
And it's Joseph.
That's right.
He's been the woman of the house this whole time. He has been running this household, keeping things in ship shape. He knows where the chairs go. He's not going to allow that tchotchke lamp to come into his house.
Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
And neither would I. I mean, we all saw what happened when on the Brady Bunch Goes to Hawaii when they got that little necklace.
That's
and
true.
all those bad things that happened.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
See, we learned 1970s and 80s television teaching us
Very
about all the
instructive.
things.
Yeah, don't take people's artifacts. Look, don't steal artifacts. Talking to you, Hobby Lobby.
Talking to you, literally every single colonizing country. So we're just going to move on to the next scene because I feel like we made our point there.
We did.
We did. That's right. So now that we've been reunited with Fallon and some of the Carringtons.
The
fancy folks. Now we're going to catch up with the Blaisdells.
It's time to go see what the Poors are doing.
The Poors. Well, they're not that poor because
They're not, 'cause
Matthew just bought a brand new car. Well, I don't know if it's a brand new car.
It's
but
new to her.
It's new to her.
So
it's new
yeah,
to her.
I mean, it's on one hand, it's his attempt to help Claudia, get back to life. She's been in a hospital for a year, addressing some her mental illness and really taking care of herself, which is fantastic. But he's like, all right, it's been 30 days. Now it's a chop chop. Let's get back to real life.
Exactly. So while we do appreciate that Matthew has been supportive, that's not the most supportive way to act towards your partner, but he does try. He's trying to give her a little bit more independence.
That's right.
Give her part of her life back. Though in this tender moment, we do see him snap a little bit.
He does. He says, I don't want to be married to a mental patient any more than you want to be a mental patient. So the patience that he's shown her, the armor's starting to crack. He's getting frustrated, but it's only been 30 days. And I'll say in Claudia's defense, I think that a surprise car is a shitty gift.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I would agree.
Cars and engagements shouldn't be surprises.
Should not be a surprise. No, thank you. No, thank you. And she says to him, we're still worried about money. We still have to figure out dealing with my doctor. We still have to figure out dealing with the house, paying for Lindsay's something. Who cares about Lindsay? Sorry, Lindsay.
No one cares.
We don't really
about
care
Lindsay.
about you. But she even says, is this the most responsible thing
Yeah.
for us to be doing? And Matthew says, kind of plays it off. I got it from a friend, which by the way, we don't really know if that's the situation.
Yeah, we don't know.
We don't know.
We don't
But maybe don't buy a car for someone
Yeah, who did not ask for it.
who did not ask for it.
My favorite thing about this scene is that when she finally gets in the car and she's like, all right, I'm going to do this. There's a little bow tied around the steering wheel.
There is. That is cute.
Yeah.
That's a cute gesture.
And it's a
That's
good
cute gesture.
contrast in between, like, when you see people get gifted cars, they have a big bow on the hood.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, he went a little bit more, a little subtler. Doesn't want to scare her too much.
Yeah.
But she's ready.
Yeah, she's ready. She jumps in the car. And is almost hit by a maniac who's driving on the wrong side of the road.
I transitioned too quickly. Sorry, y'all. We're going to go back because now we get to see her distress. I forgot to point out how distressed she looks.
Well, was that distress before she hopped in the car? Or
No,
after?
that was after. That was when someone almost hit her.
Yeah.
Backing out of her driveway, which, by the way, is not on her.
No, it was not. It wasn't her fault.
Not
but of
her
course,
fault.
because she's in a fragile state of mind, she's probably going to think that it was her fault.
Absolutely.
And blame herself, which that is a very human thing to do.
I would do it.
Yeah, I feel like it was all my fault.
It was all my fault.
Why was I on the road?
I ruined my brand new car. How could I? But yeah, she has this moment where she's taken aback, but she's ready to try. She wants to try to reclaim her life. And honestly, I will say, I have a lot of respect for Claudia.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this episode kind of cements that all the more because she's really just trying to be herself. I just want to be myself. I just want to be normal. I just want to get back to my life with my kid and my husband and my new car, I guess. I suppose I will just take my new car and go for a ride. Well, and she does go for a ride, actually. After a moment of initial fear, she actually takes that car and travels all the way over to the oil rigs.
Not only that, so after the scare that she's had with driving the car when she almost gets in that accident, she goes in the house, gets cute, puts on an adorable dress, does her hair, puts on, she looks good.
Okay, well, let's see what she looks like.
She looks
fantastic.
fantastic.
Looking nice, got that white dress on.
That's right. She's got her picnic basket.
She's brushed that hair.
Yeah, like
picnic basket. I like that. That's cute. That was good. That was good.
Everybody loves Yogi Bear.
I do. Truth.
So she really, even though she's scared, she confronts it. And I think it's quite admirable of her. And she goes to the oil rig where Matthew's supposed to be like, surprise, like, I appreciate this car. I appreciate you. And I brought you lunch.
Surprise, though, Matthew ain't there.
He's not.
And why is that?
We'll find out.
We'll find out soon enough. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. We're setting it up. It up. But she does run into another beloved sensitive soul. Yes, I would say kindred soul even.
Oh, absolutely.
Kindred soul.
Kindred spirits.
Stephen. Our beloved Stephen Carrington. Sorry, Stephen Carrington. That's correct.
Yeah.
So they run into each other. They're at the oil rig, and she's very proud of herself. And they kind of realize that while they've never met before, they've spoken on the phone. So they have this beautiful little interaction with each other. It's very cute. There's a little handshake.
There is.
The handshake's adorable. That's my favorite part.
What I really like about it is that even though she just met Stephen, she feels comfortable saying, I feel like I'm celebrating today.
Yes, and telling him why.
Yeah.
And telling him why.
So she immediately makes herself vulnerable, which is really important to someone like Stephen, who kind of walks around feeling vulnerable.
This is true. I also really appreciate that she corrects herself because she says man over machine, but then she says woman over machine because the 80s. That's right, Esther. Getting that in there. Thank you. Woman over machine. Correct.
Oh, Claudia.
But, she goes in, she tries to find Matthew, unfortunately is not there.
So she's like, hey, how about you?
Would you like to join me for lunch?
Yeah.
Stephen. Now, Stephen being the proper young gentleman that he is also on the hunt for Matthew.
That's right.
So unfortunately, he cannot stay. But he does accept the offer of a ham and cheese sandwich.
He takes a road sandwich.
Very important, though.
Roadie.
I mean, he's on the road. He's hunting for Matthew. He has things to do.
He's good. He needs a snack, you don't want your blood sugar to drop when you're searching for something.
When you're searching for people through the oil rigs, through the wilds of Denver.
That's right.
You want to have a ham and cheese sandwich.
You need snacks.
You do.
You gotta have snacks.
Something, at least a little something.
Yeah.
So, unfortunately, our beloved Claudia does not end up having a lunch partner.
That's right.
But she takes a moment to enjoy the beautiful expanse that we see.
Yeah, I love the camera work here. So first they show her walking up this staircase and then finally settling on this like very empty hill. It's very stark, and it reminded me of Andrew Wyeth's painting, Christina's World.
Which we see depicted here, everybody.
That's right. So this painting is from 1948, and it's a picture of his neighbor, Christina, who had some type of she developed a degenerative muscle disease, maybe polo, and she was unable to walk. and his neighbor Christina refused to use a wheelchair, so she crawled. And he did this painting of her kind of overlooking her home. He said he got inspired when he saw her outside one day picking blueberries. And he explained that this painting was to do justice to her extraordinary conquest of a life that most people would consider hopeless. Whether intentional or not, I see a lot of that in Claudia.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think that in that case, it's a sense of, I don't want to be somebody's, what's the word that like when you're somebody's like fodder for, oh gosh.
For pity or for.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's more about inspiration.
Absolutely.
And I think it's a beautiful painting. And I think that, again, we go back to the fact that whoever was working on this show, these people know their culture.
They know their stuff.
They know their stuff.
Yeah.
They're putting these little Easter eggs in there. They're making you think. It's not just about drama and who's going to marry who and who dated who. There are literary references in here. There are beautiful artistic references in this show. If you really take a moment to kind of peek.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, this is, painting people are really, again, really familiar with, but the idea that it's a psychological landscape rather than looking at physical landscape.
Absolutely,
So,
absolutely. Which
great tie-in.
Which Claudia is really struggling with.
Absolutely.
Ooh, wow. That just got
deep.
that got too deep.
It got really deep.
I didn't think it was gonna get that deep.
wasn't
Every
ready.
episode. I'm never ready. I'm never ready. I watch these episodes, and every episode I'm like, Ham, you just made me go so deep.
And
I
you do
cannot.
that to me every episode.
Oh, let's just
Cheers.
cheers. Oh, sorry, everybody. Right in front of the
Dynasty.
microphone. Wine and Dynasty, exactly. Wine and seltzer.
So in this next scene, like as we know, like remember the honeymoon was interrupted because there was an emergency, and Blake has to get back to work.
It's an emergency.
Crystal sees Blake in the hallway of their 48-room mansion, and she's
48
like,
rooms.
48 rooms. That's a lot of vacuuming. I hope she has a Dyson.
Yo, can we just talk about, though, I hope they don't have installed carpet.
Oh no, they've
No.
got wall-to-wall carpets.
No.
From the windows to the walls.
No. Okay, people, let's talk about this. The 80s were a time of unfortunate carpeting.
Oh, and there's a ton of it in this episode because later, just sit tight.
It's true. There's a lot of brocade. I just feel like I can smell that house sometimes.
Oh yeah, you can smell these images.
I can smell that house.
Yeah. So Crystal tries to talk to Blake. She's lonely, even though before she got married, she told her friends nothing's gonna change. It's the third episode and she's already bored and miserable. So she goes to talk to Blake and he slams the door in her face.
Let's just boom.
She's like,
just
oh,
boom,
hey, Blake.
right in the face.
And she's just standing, and she stands there for a few minutes just to like kind of like save her. And also she's like, no, this motherfucker didn't.
But he did.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Joseph, the jealous house manager, is there to see it all. And he is living for it.
Just lapping it up. Just
he absolutely
that
loves
eyebrow.
It. Oh yeah, he loves it.
I'm just gonna.
You doing
That's
the
gonna
Joseph?
that's gonna be the Joseph now.
Yeah, he was
Just that
enjoying
eating
it
shit face.
immensely.
But
Yeah.
let's be real. And honestly, talking about literary references or references in general, to me, and I'm sure everybody's gonna say this, I just screamed The Godfather when I saw this moment.
Oh, yeah.
You know, you think about Michael standing there behind the door closing, and don't ask me about my business, you know? And that's kind of where Crystal is at this point.
Yeah.
She had kind of been privy a little bit more to Blake's businesses as
Because she was his secretary.
She was a secretary, exactly. She had been involved, you know, and you see even in the first episode, Blake's effort to go out of his way to go to her bachelorette party, to bring her this gift. And immediately once they come home, he's shutting her out.
Yeah.
And
we know from 1980s Working Girl,
another
the secretary,
great film.
Yeah, the secretaries always come through. Like the secretaries are the people who know everything.
That is correct.
And have some really insightful ideas about the business.
That's true. As someone who worked on Wall Street, wish I hadn't signed that NDA sometimes, but it's fine.
Right?
It's
Right?
fine.
The secretaries know all. So
We know all, we see all. Don't
so
mess
poor
with us.
Crystal is shut out.
Shut
in the
out.
meantime,
The meantimes.
we have another. I think the next scene is a great example of inadvisable carpeting.
I don't know what you're talking about. I always think that there should be carpeting in a bar.
In a bar.
Bars should always have carpet, full carpeting, and you should definitely be arm wrestling with raw eggs.
Yes, and people should be smoking.
100%.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That bar smells delightful.
That's right.
I don't even know what you're talking
It's
about.
the hillside. So we cut to the hillside bar.
There we go.
Where we finally find where Matthew is. Like, we've had, where's Matthew? Where's Walter? Well, they're here at the hillside bar because
The hillside bar.
yeah, the guys who are working on their rig walked out because they're not getting paid.
They're not getting paid.
Kudos to them.
Absolutely. And, Walter is dismayed. He's tried to get a couple of different loans. No matter what he's done, everything's kind of bit him in the butt.
Supplies are hard to come by.
Supplies are hard to come by. Money's hard to come by. And so these guys just walked off. And Matthew is ready to fight for that, though. He's not ready to give up on this opportunity that he has joined in with Walter. So they go over to the bar and, they kind of try to, let's say, butter up the crew a little bit. Does Matthew let the crew member win at arm wrestling? It's possible.
Perhaps.
Mayhaps.
I mean, we've seen, like, with the very first episode or the second episode when Matthew goes to talk to Walter. In order to convince Matthew to work with him, he and Walter fight.
Yes.
This is just how they do things.
In cowboy boots and khakis.
Yeah.
Oh, jeans. Sorry.
Yeah.
Cowboy boots and jeans, which is...
He's like, I really want this favor from you. Let's fight.
And that kind of plays into this, like, this macho, simplistic stereotype that we want kind of the characters to take on. But they're more complicated than that.
Absolutely.
They are more complicated than that. However, now we have Mr. Steven. Steven has once again found them at the bar.
It's magical to me how people, when I watch shows before cell phones or like pagers, how people just like find each other, and it's like...
Okay, especially when, not for nothing, Steven told Claudia, I think he's over at this other rig.
Yeah.
So did he drive to that rig first and then drive to the bar?
It's a lot of driving.
It doesn't matter.
They just magically find each other.
The point is, Steven shows up, and Steven is, he's ready. He's ready to knock a few buck.
Oh, you can see a picture in the background of the baby blue carpet.
Here we go. We have a little bit. Oh, God, that carpet is... There's a lot of blue in this scene.
There's a lot of blue in the entire episode.
This is true. I wonder if that's like the masculine thing.
Well, so Claudia is wearing blue.
This is true.
And then she's matching Matthew. And then the car is blue. The ribbon is blue.
And then she's wearing white. And then she's wearing blue. That's true. Ooh. I'm telling you, the costume master, I don't even know who this person is. We're going to have to like go back and find them and be like, will you come on our show?
Will you come talk to us?
You're a genius. You are a genius. But so Steven in his beautiful blue, it looks like jeans, and he's
wearing blue jeans and very nice boots and a blue button down.
A blue button down.
Yeah.
Very, very nice.
And he's like, hey guys, give me a job.
Exactly.
Really unexpected.
Now, and these crew gentlemen, crewmen, I was going to say, but these crew gentlemen, they're not here for it because as we remember, Steven is a Carrington. And there is this inherent distrust of the Carrington family for a number of reasons. And I don't just think that's because, it's the Carrington family, but it's the haves against the not haves. We have been used and abused by these families for years as the folks who are out there breaking their backs on the oil rigs while the Carringtons are raking in that money.
And it's possible some of these men have been sent into dangerous situations like the one that we saw in the first episode where Matthew had to be, was escorted out of the country by men with semi-automatic weapons. So I think that...
they're right.
There's a danger factor.
Absolutely. And, Steven is also an unknown. He's not been a part of this culture. Even though they're antagonistic with Matthew and Walter, there's still a certain amount of familiarity. At one point, Walter says, do you think you're going to get a recommendation from me? And a guy kind of says, well, your recommendation isn't worth shit anyway, so I don't really care. There's a certain amount of understanding that even though we might not be best of friends, we're still on the same page. Whereas Steven is this unknown. And he comes in willing to prove himself. And
you know how these guys prove themselves?
With their fists.
I mean, I think in that middle picture, obviously, you know what I was chanting when those two men were face to face. Kiss, 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 kiss.
I mean, let's be real.
Great.
I just want I want Steven to find love.
I too want Steven to find love.
I kind of want him to find it with Jeff Colby, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, but that would be sweet. Because Jeff is a great guy.
I mean, and then they could do like renewable energy together. Anyway, we're going down a rabbit hole here.
Some Dynasty fanfic
that
you didn't ask for, but that you need.
Please write it to. Please send it to.
So Steven does what I call it the far and away I'm referencing Ron Howard's Far and Away with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman.
Ooh.
And when the Tom
Movie
Cruise,
reference day.
Yeah, I know. I got a ton
We gotta
today.
do it. We gotta
Tom
do
Cruise
it.
basically tells everyone he fights, he's like, I have no wish to fight you. And then the next thing you know, he's like, just
Wilding
knocking
out.
you out. So Steven does the same thing. And I think that Steven knew he needed like a little bit of an advantage. He's like,
Yes.
okay, I don't fight, but I have to fight or these men are never going to respect me. So he says, I don't want to fight you. And then in a punch that is telegraphed around the world.
Which you can also see in the upper right-hand corner. I guess, is that still the upper right-hand corner?
Is it? I don't.
It's the punch action shot in which Steven is punching someone.
It's the one where he's punching.
It's the one where he's punching, exactly. I don't know if it's mirrored or not mirrored. I don't know what it is, but he's punching.
He's punching. And then I do think at one point in this fight, he is upside down against the wall.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's after the fourth action shot. Well, he gets in that one good punch, but that's about the only good punch he gets in.
That's it.
But it is enough to earn the respect of these crewmen.
Yeah, because they say like you can work with us.
Exactly. They carry him out to the truck.
They throw him in the bed of the truck.
Exactly.
With some oil drums.
But they say we'll get him back
Totally
there.
safe.
We'll get him back there. It was the 80s.
I think that Steven getting in that one good punch, it reminds me of so this one time in high school, these girls were gonna jump me, and
I already love this
and
story.
I asked another girl at school, I was like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't even know why they wanted to fight me. They just didn't like me. Like, I hadn't done anything. I hadn't like sabotaged their oil rigs. So they wanted to fight me.
Which is a legit reason to fight.
Yeah, and I asked this girl who was like a scrapper at school. I was like, what do you do? And she's like, here's what you do. They're going to win because there's more of them. But you got to pick up a brick or a stick or a rock. She's like, you just got to hurt one person on your way down. And I think that was Steven's tactic. Yeah. You're probably wondering, like, where the hell did you grow up? This was like on a military base. So like,
note to self.
if you ever get jumped, you just got to hurt one person.
Oh, I was going to say, if I ever get jumped, I just want you to be there. That's what I was going to say. I'm just going to scream like a bitch.
I mean, how do the lyrics go? I come in the club shaking these dreads.
Oh, my. Wow, new content here on Pop Culture Co-op,
That's right.
everybody. My goodness.
Ham nuts if she bucks.
Ham? Well, we already knew that, though.
I know,
We're
right?
not. Well, that's Ham. This is Larita.
This is Larita.
Ooh, Ham came out. Maybe we got to.
I know, right?
It's like, oh, sorry, y'all.
I'm
We're actually adults.
You straighten them edge.
It's fine. Oh, let me drink my seltzer that has no alcohol in it.
Oh man. All right. So the guys take. I know you're gonna take a little sip.
A little sip. It's fine.
So the guys take Steven in, and they're like, "All right, you can work for him. You can work for us." But it's clear here that Steven's drawn a line.
Yes.
Just like Matthew had to in episode 2. He had
Yes.
to decide, like, you're a company man or you're your own person. And Steven's like, I gotta be me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, you're seeing, even in the course of a couple of episodes, how characters are developing and finding themselves.
Right.
They're forced into making these decisions. And Steven is continuously saying, I want to be myself.
Right.
I'm going to be myself. Matthew says, I'm going to make this decision for my family. Mm-hmm. So what's going to happen with these people? What is the next steps that are going on in their lives?
I gotta say, this rye is nice.
Really?
It's really nice. It is delicious.
Thank you, Val and Chaos.
Thank you so much, Val and Chaos. A+.
Wonderful.
All right, so back at Carrington Manor. All of the men are very busy. It's like a beehive. So they're in Blake's very masculine, manly man library.
Yes. This is after Crystal got shut out.
That's right.
Let's remember, this is behind the gilded doors.
Something I love about this office, about his library, is he has one of those globe bars.
Okay, yes.
Did you notice that?
I did notice that.
I noticed that. I was
that.
like, oh, my daddy had one of those, and I can't believe I can't believe I missed out on that inheritance.
See, that could have been in your corner.
It could have been, yeah, that is like
y'all don't know, but we've been trying to figure out what to put in Larita's bar corner, and it could have been.
It could have been the globe.
It could have been the globe.
I mean, a couple of weeks ago, there was an uproar because someone upcycled one and like painted it and put like glitter on it, and people were like, how dare you?
Oh, that is disrespectful.
Yeah, disrespectful.
That is disrespectful.
To those globe bars.
Oh, no. I needed to say USSR. I need to be offensive. That is correct. I wanted to look like the old world where I would have been lynched or killed immediately. That is correct.
So I could put my liquor in it.
Exactly. So I can put my liquor in it and feel like an old, rich white man, I guess. I don't know. So I can be Blake Carrington.
I own the world.
I own the world. Delicious.
Anybody got that chai rye?
You do.
I
there
do.
we go.
I do.
There you do.
All right. So Blake is working, and it turns out that Fallon had snuck in and is listening.
Snuck in.
I mean, it's her house. Like, it's her house.
Fallon's real sneaky, though.
She is. He's all like, "What are you doing here?" She's like, "I live here."
I live here in my house.
She's like, "I told the guards it was okay.
I was
allowed."
undercover CIA agent because her guards don't know who she is.
Yeah, no one knows who she is.
No one knows
it's
who
us.
Fallon is. It's fine.
So Fallon is wearing blue also.
Yes.
Yeah.
She is. A lovely sweater dress.
With a little scarf. Which I'm wondering, like, what's the temperature, though? Because in the first scene we saw her, she was in her tennis whites with, like, a short sleeve shirt and shorts.
See, but I feel like this...
I guess it's the mountains.
Yeah, I feel like that's what I was going to say. It's some Denver shit. Because don't you remember Crystal wearing that, like, short dress but the fur?
Yeah.
Yeah, and even her wedding...
Bitches will wear a fur with a bikini, though.
I mean, that's true. That's true. I mean, $200 million. 500, almost $600 million.
I mean,
true.
you remember that Sierra video, He Loves the Way I Ride? She's leaning up against a car in that bikini and a fur. Whew, that video.
That's true. I guess for me, I just get sweaty.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I don't own a fur, but I just get sweaty in general.
Yeah, so adding a fur on top of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We also don't condone fur. This is the 80s, everybody. Remember, the 80s. They were very disrespectful to the animals.
How else to show your wealth? So Fallon really...
Fur.
So in this meeting, we can see Blake talking to Andrew and explicitly talking about how to sabotage Matthew and Walter.
Absolutely.
So despite Blake earlier being like, well, if it was me, like OJ, if I did it, right? And we see that that's right. If I did it. So now Blake is just like, yeah, I did it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And he's mad.
Yeah.
He's big mad that they haven't quite managed to actually just destroy the whole Matthew, Walter, what did he say? The Lancashire Blaisdell project, I think is what he calls it, or something to that effect. And so we also kind of realized, well, damn, Walter actually has been working his ass off.
He has.
He's been hustling, and Matthew's been hustling too. And it's not about them. It's that Blake has been out there puppeting behind the scenes, screwing them over.
Which is weird because Blake's own shit is in crisis. Like, he's got oil tankers that have been taken hostage.
This man might go bankrupt.
Yeah, he might lose everything he has, but he's worried about what the fuck Walter's doing.
Petty.
Oh, yeah.
Petty.
Absolutely. Like, at this point, he's like, I can't buy government. Like, why isn't the government bailing me out? They make an allusion to the Russians and selling weapons and things like that. So I really like the way that this show kind of skirts around this. Like, they're directly talking about things that are happening, but they're also very vague.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, well, if these fanatics kill each other. So yeah. So they make these allusions that we're supposed to know what they're talking about. It's quite interesting, especially since subsequent wars, never-ending wars. We're like, wow, well, if it isn't the consequences of our own actions.
Exactly, and Blake is even complaining. Well, who got me involved in such a sticky situation? Who did this? What does he say? What dim-witted office boy thought that this would be a good idea for me to get involved in the first place? To which I love that Andrew kind of slyly reminds him, it was you, Blake. It was you, Blake. And Fallon also pops in and reminds him, Daddy, you said that the government, this was a case of the grasshopper and the ant, and the government wasn't saving for a rainy day because apparently $600 million isn't enough to save for a rainy day.
It's not enough.
It's not enough. It's not enough. But in spite of all this, Blake is focused on the pittance of the Blaisdell Lancashire single rig out there in the woods.
And Fallon recognizes that this is silly. She says to him, like, why you'd be better off being nice to them than trying to blow up their spot. So why don't you try that? And of course he's like, oh, it's nonsense. And then 2 scenes later he's like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
you can't let her know that it's a good idea.
No, never.
Is an indication of why Stephen and Fallon have these issues, because they never get praise from their father.
Exactly. And he just gently escorts her right out of the office. As
by
you
gently,
can see,
we mean slingshot.
Exactly. By gently, you can see her being just rushed out of that office and then goes in and takes her idea for
It was
his
worse
own.
than getting the hook at the Apollo. Honestly, I expected the Sandman to come out and just
I don't know. But she was ready. She was ready for it. She's kind of like, oh, Daddy. Oh, you're so funny. I don't know what you're trying to talk about.
What happens next?
What happens? Like, well, we actually have an interesting scene that we're going to just chit chat about, where we have an interesting interaction between Crystal and the staff in her house.
Oh, yes.
So
yes.
now Crystal is still getting used to being in this giant 48-room mansion, but trying to make herself at home now that she's back from her honeymoon, getting her little tiki wired. Now she's put on some real clothes, took off that bikini top. She's getting settled, and she walks into her dining room to talk to one of her staff members
about the menu.
About the menu, but about how lovely the weather is today.
Yeah. Oh, she's lonely.
She's lonely.
Yeah.
She says it's so beautiful outside. She's hoping to be able to have dinner with Blake because, as we remember, she just got shut out of that room.
Yeah.
And she says, we'd love to dine out on the balcony.
And the maid's like, Joseph won't like that.
And Joseph, being the creeper that he is like, in the background, I don't like it. While the maid is cowering. Now let's discuss. First of all, Joseph, you're a dick. Second of all, this is highly abnormal. Highly abnormal. Now, again, I've never been rich enough to have staff. Ever in my life. But I've worked for families where there were staff members, where they did have people who, came in and did things for the family.
Yeah.
And you don't say no to the woman of the house.
Okay, well, I'm going to say I did once have a housekeeper, and she told me what to do all the time. I accepted it.
Wow.
So, yeah, I had a housekeeper who...
Tell me more. And also, can I get her number? Because I need her to fix my life. Was it Iyanla?
Oh, God, no.
By the by, Iyanla, if you're listening, fix our life.
No, so my housekeeper, you're going to hate this, but she'd be like... we lived in a country where it's very common to comment on people's weight.
Okay.
And so she would be like... And I was, like, not shy about walking around, like, in a towel or whatever. And so she'd be like, you've gained a little bit of weight. I'm going to make you some fish. So
okay.
she would notify me, like, you've gained weight, therefore you will be eating these low-fat dinners that I will prepare for you.
Okay, but it wasn't like she was like, your ass got fat, so I'm gonna starve you. She was like, I'm gonna make you a delightful meal.
Yeah, no.
So what I would do is just ignore that part and be like, I love fish.
I love fish. It was delicious.
See?
She made me amazing food.
See, what I hear is you were getting a delightful fish dinner that
She was
cooked
taking
with
care
love.
of me.
With love.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Gloria, like, really took care of me.
See, but were you out here like, no, I don't want fish?
No, it was delicious.
See?
She'd make me this fish with a black-eyed pea and mango salsa.
Okay.
It was delicious. Try it. The first time she made me this salsa, I was so mad. I was like, did she just waste my black-eyed peas? Ooh. And then I ate it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so good.
Okay, first of all, I'm going to need that recipe.
Absolutely.
So we're going to have to check this video back so I can get that recipe. Also, we'll get that recipe to y'all. Yeah. I have no idea when it's coming, but I'm very invested in getting this recipe.
We have Instagram and Twitter, so we can
boom,
totally do it.
Boom, there we go. We learned how to tweet just for the show.
We did. We absolutely
Fantastic.
did. So Crystal she's just kind of taking the abuse from her housekeeper.
Well, she's taken it back.
And she doesn't seem to like it. I liked my housekeeper telling me what to eat.
Right. Well, but that was also a situation where she made a request.
Yeah.
And the housekeeper very much said, that's not how Joseph does it.
Yeah, and that's unacceptable.
That's unacceptable. Yeah. That's unacceptable behavior.
So, poor Crystal.
That's not okay. That's not okay.
Yeah.
But that's just a brief moment before we have a moment back to our beloved Fallon.
Oh, Fallon.
Oh, Fallon.
Our kink queen.
Our king queen.
So Fallon
never
runs.
stops.
Yeah. Fallon runs into Andrew in the hallway, and she's like, "Hey, give me the dirt on my dad. Like, I want to help out."
And I think she beginning to realize, that Blake's in trouble.
Oh yeah.
Blake's in real trouble. Not just like petty trouble, like trouble.
Yeah. And it's not, and I think it's not out of like her just being like, oh, I just want to be able to still go shopping. She's genuinely concerned because she cares about her father.
A little too much.
Which Andrew replies, do you want to say it?
Oh, I think you should say it.
So Andrew says.
Well, I just make uncomfortable eyes at the camera.
So Andrew looks at her and says, most girls know by the age of 6 that they can't grow up and marry their daddy.
I don't think that Fallon knows that.
Rude. I mean, that's true. She did wear white to the wedding. She was angry at the wedding.
Lady Godiva in the first episode.
Yeah, she was like,
I fell in the river and now I
have
need
to
your
take off my clothes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
She bit Crystal's head off on the cake topper.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, listen, Fallon, honey.
All right, my dog is not here for this. So.
Oh.
Hi, world.
Oh my goodness. Oh,
Say
but
hello to my mini dog.
can we talk about the fact that they're almost matching though? That it's like a pink blue motif between Fallon and Chance.
Oh, Chance, you're just like Fallon.
She's just like Fallon.
All right, I'm gonna
She's
put
very,
you
very
down.
classy.
Go find your daddy.
So upon hearing this, Fallon's reaction, as much like the petulant child that she is to, as discussed, strike out and try to slap Andrew, who
Has cat-like reflexes.
and just catches.
That's right. I think this is the first slap in the series.
This is the
we need to have we need to start tallying
slap
the
count.
slaps.
Slap
Yeah.
count 1.
Yeah.
Slap count 1,
It's the first
everybody.
slap.
Slap count 1. So, well, does it count though because she doesn't land the slap?
I think it counts.
I feel like it does also.
because I feel like this is a show that's going to have a lot of slap catches.
I agree.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like it's so dramatic when he catches it
Mm-hmm.
and then tells her, friends shouldn't fight.
That's friends.
Frenemies.
Oh man, yeah.
To
Absolutely.
which Fallon kind of acquiesces and gives him the most hauntingly disturbing kiss on the cheek. Again, the Godfather.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely mob boss. Like, I hope that Andrew doesn't have a horse because it's gonna die.
It's 100% gonna die. I mean, but Fallon realizes that she can't just slap her way out of this problem.
No.
She's gonna have to play the game.
Oh, it's gonna get serious.
Is it gonna get serious?
It's gonna get.
It's
serious.
gonna get very
It's gonna get very
serious. It's
serious.
gonna get very serious. So after this, I would say, non-sexy slap.
Yeah.
Non-sexy slap. We are then transported back to the world of the Poors.
Oh yes.
The Poors.
Yeah.
Rejoining our beloved Matthew and Claudia, who have had a day separate from each other.
That's right.
But a positive day nonetheless. Matthew has brought his crew back on board.
He's hired Steven.
Who got his butt kicked but still stood up for himself.
That's right.
You know, Claudia drove her brand new car all the way to the rig.
There's victories all around.
That's what I'm saying. So, you know, they're having a little moment. They're chit-chatting together in bed. And it gets a little racy. It gets a little racy.
It does.
So if your kids are watching, this is the moment to pull them away from the screen because it's going to happen. There's full-on nipple.
It's hot.
3, 2,
Don't say we didn't warn you.
oh, it's there. It's there.
Okay, so Matthew's coming out of the shower, washing off that hard day's work
Hard day's work. In a blue towel.
in a blue towel.
Blue towel.
It's everywhere. The
Oh,
blue
it's
is everywhere.
everywhere today.
It absolutely is. And so we have a really cute, flirty conversation between
Yes.
these two.
Yes.
It's quite endearing. So for those of you who are doing other things while you watch this, what we see is Claudia in bed, and Matthew is leaned over the bedpost, and he's shirtless and just has a towel wrapped around his waist. And I would say he has like an affectionate grin.
Yes.
On
And
his
while
face.
you can't see Claudia's face in this shot, she too is being very kind of sweetly flirtatious with Matthew as well, which is a huge contrast, I would say, from their initial kind of encounter in bed where Claudia did not join them for lunch and Matthew kind of joins them upstairs and is like, well, lock the door and roll over.
It's very romantic.
AKA the worst foreplay ever.
Absolutely. This is he's turned up the heat. What I love about this scene is that you can hear water driplet sounds.
Yes, this is true.
And I'm
This
just
is
like,
true.
who comes out of the shower that dripping wet?
I mean, hold on. Let's pull this back up again. Let's look. He's ready for action. He's like, my hair's a little bit wet,
You know,
my golden locks.
He's got a towel off. As a person who's in charge of like cleaning the bathroom in my home, when people like leave that, like he has to have left a pool of water.
But as we know, he's not the one cleaning up.
I
It's
guess.
Claudia. Claudia got to clean up after him.
I'd
Claudia
be
got to
like-
clean up after Lindsay. Lindsay can't even clear off a table.
I know.
Claudia's the one working hard here.
I'd be so turned off. I'd be like, I've got to clean this. I don't have time for sex. But Claudia's not me. And
Claudia is definitely not turned off.
Claudia says, and kudos to the writers of this episode, she looks at Matthew and she says, "You're getting me all wet."
Y'all, the 80s were too much for me. I cannot.
I'm like, wow.
I cannot.
Like, congratulations for getting that past the censors, but also, like, I love it. Like, that is about as subtle as a train in a Hitchcock movie. Like, go just right through the tunnel.
I mean, listen, from the first episode, he didn't try to be subtle. We all know what's
No.
going to happen here.
Yeah.
He's getting a leg over.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So,
oh, and then she pulls off his towel. So
Yeah.
if you actually didn't figure it out from her saying that he was getting her all wet, when she yanks his towel off, hopefully you get it then. We don't have a photo
She's
of
gonna
that.
go in the kitchen. She's gonna go in the bathroom and mop up the mess. That's what's happening.
Ooh, that's sexy to me, actually. I'm turned on by that. I'm like, ooh, you're going to clean up that house and mop up that
house,
floor.
you clean it.
Ooh, organization. Yes. This is not about us.
Oh man.
This is not about us. This is not about our romances.
It could be though.
It could be. But it's not, though. As a matter of fact, it's about Blake
And Crystal.
So now, can we just talk about the fact that Crystal's only been gone on this honeymoon for less than 6 weeks. Less than 6 weeks. Because we know honeymoon got cut short.
Yeah.
We know they got married very shortly after the first episode where they had the bachelorette party.
That's right. Where she was gifted
A riding crop. And where she said,
"What's this? What is this for?"
"Where's this for? I don't know how to ride a horse." Crystal, the lies, the continuity. Okay, so I'm going to say this. Writers, great literary references, amazing movie references, fantastic costuming. But y'all, the continuity.
It's not great because she comes riding up with Blake and they come across Steven, but like she's expertly riding this horse.
So graceful. And not a riding crop in hand.
No.
Graceful. And also, a riding crop is not used for this type of riding.
Yeah.
They are riding in the Western style. That is not when you would be using a riding crop. You use that English style.
Yeah. So mistakes all around.
Mistakes all around.
I mean, maybe she's using that riding crop on Blake. We don't know.
Joy of sex.
That's right.
We already talked. Yes, love it.
So they run across Steven, who has got his battle scars.
He has. Driving a brand new,
Pickup truck.
beautiful, yellow pickup
That's
truck.
what all the kids on the oil field have.
The yellow pickup truck. Well, now
Yeah.
he's cool. He's
He's a
cool with
cool
all
kid.
his friends now.
You would think with that, like as obsessed as Blake is with like manliness and manhood, he'd be really proud of his son having gotten in a fight.
Well, I mean, I think he kind of is, because when he pulls up and he sees Steven in the bed of the truck and he looks a little, roughed up with his golden curls,
Yeah.
Blake he seems almost entertained, intrigued.
Yeah.
He kind of makes a little joke, where have you been off to?
Yeah.
Engaging him in conversation. But Steven is very stoic.
He is.
He's very stoic.
Because he's got something to tell his dad.
Steven is just like dropping a lot of bombs. Well, not really. Technically, Blake dropped the first bomb about Steven.
I'm so sorry, but my dog wants you to pick her
You're
up.
totally fine. So I'm going to let you take this while I get the little dog here.
So my dog wants in on the action. Actually, no. She's like, just look at me.
She's just scared of me. Okay.
She's
scared her.
afraid. She's afraid of the
scared her.
dynasty.
Too much dynasty.
It's too much dynasty. So at this point, Steven tells his father, like, look, I'm going to work with Walter and Matthew now. I need to do something on my own. It's not easy being your child. Like, people know who I am. I need to do something on my own. And Blake, is like, it's not too late. What job do you want at my company? You can have any job you want.
Which is ridiculous because in the first episode, he shits all over Steven for saying, for cashing all those signed checks, all those checks that I signed.
right.
So Steven literally can't win.
No.
And I think it's gotten to a point where Steven realizes the only way that he is going to win is to be his own man, is to be his own human. And to say to his father, I'm not going to work for you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to work for Denver Carrington. I'm going to go off and do my own thing and learn the hard way.
Yeah.
And Blake, as you said, you would think that Blake would be kind of impressed, but he's almost taken aback and kind of brushes it off and says, what are you saying?
And he doesn't even ask him to be a spy either.
No.
What
he
are you
doesn't.
doing, Blake? What are you doing with your
He
life?
doesn't. Blake is fragile.
He is.
Fragile masculinity.
He is, because when Steven says, you don't know how hard it is to be your son, Blake's response is, you don't know how hard it is to be your dad. And he's saying that in regards to Steven being gay. And it's like, what does Steven being gay have anything to do with you? Like, nothing.
Absolutely
nothing. At all. Like, Steven has
Absolutely
not
nothing.
involved you. Like, as far as we know, like, they haven't talked about, like, no one knows.
No.
No one knows. Like, Steven...
He was gay in New York. That's why Steven went to New York, so he could go be gay and none of the Denver folk would know about it. This is before social media, when you could be gay in another city on the DL and no one would know. But don't do that because it's not good. Communicate
It's
with your
not good for
partners
you.
and be a true person to yourself. You could just
That's
come
right.
out. And if you can't, then stay safe in whatever way that you can stay safe, and the world will be waiting for you when you're
Especially
ready.
when you have a bitch-ass daddy like Blake.
Yo, seriously.
Like, I mean, but Blake saying that, like, oh, it's so difficult being your father. It's bullshit. It's bullshit, and it's just another example of Blake shitting on Steven. And Crystal even says at the end of this scene, she's like, weren't you like a little hard on him? And Blake is like,
don't tell me about my kids.
yeah, like mind your business. And it's like, I mean, I guess you would expect that from Blake, considering he did not introduce Crystal to his children until before the wedding. Which, do not marry someone who does not introduce you to their children.
Well, I mean, I think, again, both of them were kind of unprepared for this wedding, you know? And then we see Crystal again. Now we're back in the house. Crystal has yet another interaction with the staff where it shows that she just does not quite fit in. Yeah. So she walks into the kitchen. She tried to have dinner out on the balcony, shot down.
Yeah.
Shot down. Mm-hmm. But now she decides, you know what? I'm going to go talk to the chef.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the menu because she's really trying. She's trying to get herself settled in the house. She tries to make nice with Fallon. She's trying to make nice with Steven. She, acquiesces when Jeanette says no thank you to her request.
That's right.
So she goes into the kitchen and, which I just love, she comments that she would prefer a change in the menu because duck feels a bit heavy for the season.
Yeah, for that time of year.
For that time of year.
Yeah.
So given that, I would say it would probably be summer.
Yeah.
Summer or spring, early fall, because duck as a heavy meal, now we're going to go into this, talking about what the timing of the year, that would be normally the time that duck would be heavy, even though that is normally the time that duck is eaten.
Yeah.
To which the chef replies,
Joseph doesn't like
that.
We always have duck the first weekend of the month.
Okay, Joseph, again, coming in. And then we see Joseph's little snooty butt, as you can see in that photo, just coming in with his snootiness.
Yeah, he's like, we can have squab.
We can have squab instead. First of all, here, I'm gonna talk professionally for a second here. First of all, squab is no less heavy than duck, slightly less fatty, yes, but gamey as hell. Yeah. And nobody eats game meat in the summer. Game meat is a winter meat and a fall time meat. Mm-hmm. So squab, not actually a much better suggestion. Also, squab, very difficult to eat. Yeah. Very difficult to eat. Lots of little bones. It's really all about the stuffing. There's only like an ounce of meat on it.
Oh, that's not enough.
That is not enough.
Especially if you see in the scene, like there's a big slab of meat just sitting on the table.
Also, that is so unhygienic.
It really is.
That is so unhygienic.
They told the set designer, like, make it look like someone's cooking here. And it's like, that...
They spend all the money on all of the costuming and on the hoopties, but then they're like...
threw some meat out there.
Exactly. They're like, just throw some kale garnish on it, just like the 80s. It'll be totally fine. Just throw some garnish on it. Just throw garnish on it.
So Crystal has she takes another L.
She does.
Like, she really does.
From Joseph.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bitch-ass Joseph.
Oh, and... It's at this point that Joseph just says, so Blake comes in. He's like, what's this all about? They're talking. And Joseph says, we were just substituting one favorite for another. Which makes me think, were Blake and Joseph dating at some point?
I mean, in my mind, yes. I want that to be the truth.
Yeah. In Joseph's mind, too.
I feel like we're like deep diving into the sexual politics of Dynasty. Of Blake Carrington and Dynasty.
Yeah.
I mean, also, we don't know what Joseph's relationship was like with the illustrious Alexis Carrington, who we have not yet met yet. We have not met her yet. That's season 2.
Well, that's when the show really came to life, when Alexis came on. I mean. Yeah.
The slaps heard around the world. So, but everything that he says is just a little jab.
Yes.
Every single thing he says is a petty jab. And Blake, it just...
Yeah.
Right over the head. Blake's like, yeah, okay,
great. That's
great.
just how he is. It's probably because Joseph makes his life so much easier.
Of course.
And he's willing to make those sacrifices for everyone else.
Of course. Also, he probably loves squab.
Probably.
I mean, who does, though?
He probably eats them whole because he's a vampire.
Oh, that's a whole different show.
I know,
that's like a remake of the remake.
It is.
But Blake is actually coming in the kitchen for a reason. To make a request to his, again, wonderful chef.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit biased. To his wonderful chef, because they will be having a dinner party.
For 10.
For 10 people. No, that's not too many people.
With some very special guests.
Some very special guests. Mainly...
Claudia and Matthew Blaisdell. And Walter. Now, you might be wondering how Crystal feels about this. Stricken. Ooh. She didn't even look that upset at her wedding, which she should have. She didn't even look that upset when he sprang that last-minute prenup on her. Also, how dare you lean into kiss me after telling me this? Yeah. Just springing this on me. Yeah. But at the same time,
springing it on you, it's just your ex-boyfriend.
Well, so we thought.
So
right?
we thought. This was our initial thought. We were like, ooh, is there a scandal? What's going on? Is Steven? Is this? Is that?
Right.
But then we did a little math.
Yeah. So earlier, Matthew talks about the fact that he and Claudia have been married for 15 years.
15 years.
15
years. Bless her heart. Also, we all know that her hair got fixed, so that's why this is still funny.
That's right.
That's correct.
So, yeah, they've been married for 15 years because Claudia got pregnant with Lindsay. So, Crystal...
Kids, fall in love, get married.
That's right. And Crystal and Matthew have dated. They dated each other. But then we know that Matthew was married. So Crystal is really upset because she's like, this is going to be so humiliating for me to have Matthew when everyone knows our history. And first we were like, so what? You dated, big deal. But then we realized he was married.
He was married at the time.
And so, which is, not great. Not
well,
great.
I mean, here's the thing. Like,
maybe they were on a break.
Oh, that is a very dangerous thing to say. I feel like there's just a lot of non-ethical, non-monogamy happening here.
Yes.
That is just my feeling.
Yes.
Like, it would be different if everybody was communicating, openness about their relationships. We support poly relationship. This is non-ethical behavior. We do not support this. We do not support sneaking around on the down low. Especially when your wife is probably dealing with her mental health issues at the time.
Absolutely.
Not okay. But so we've moved past this for the kitchen incident. And while we leave Crystal in her shock, Miss Fallon is on her way out for a date.
Looking good.
Looking very good. Again, all in white, that virginal white that we all know is a lie.
Oh, yeah.
But looking beautiful, just dressed to the nines, ready to go out with a secret suitor. We don't know who she's waiting for.
Well, we see that she runs into Michael, the chauffeur, who she had been creeping around with, but he pissed her off when he threatened to blackmail her.
Which is why she almost drowned him.
Yeah, and she's like not having it. Fallon is really independent. She's really fierce, and she's going to protect herself.
Absolutely.
Which is fantastic. But Michael she got his nose wide open.
Oh, yes.
He is he's mad because his extortion attempts have been thwarted, but he caught feelings for her.
Oh, hardcore. And we even see a transition in their relationship. From the first episode, she calls him up on the little car phone. He hangs up on her because he knows he has the upper hand, and she's gonna show up and he's gonna have his little champagne. By the second episode, she's already tired of his shit.
Yeah,
she's moved on. And she very blatantly tells him, as a matter of fact, about Jeff Colby, I'm just playing with him until I beat him in tennis, and then I'll find somebody else.
That's right.
Ooh, my goodness. See? They're backing up on Hassan.
I mean, she says to him, pretty much, congratulations, you played yourself. I'm not here for your bullshit.
Right.
And he's real mad.
Oh, he's very, very mad.
He's big mad.
And he kind of manhandles her a little bit, which is not okay.
And she says, get off of me.
She absolutely says, get off of me, which, by the way, no means no.
Yeah.
No means no. And he does back off. But he says to her, one day you're gonna want me, and I'm not gonna be here.
She's like, yeah, because I drowned you.
Exactly.
You're gonna sleep with the fishes.
Exactly. Their relationship is not to be.
That's
probably. And while this is all happening again, the heads of the Carrington family, Blake and Crystal, are chit-chatting about their little interaction.
Crystal's like brushing her hair before she goes to bed.
I don't know how she can brush that hair.
Probably 100 times.
How does that? Her hair doesn't even move. So I don't even know what she's brushed that wig.
She's just doing the ends. She's like working her way to the top.
Yeah. That little. I always wondered how they got this part to stay.
With the brush. I have these friends at daycare who do this. So you take the brush and you comb it out, and then you spray it
while you're combing.
And then as it's falling, it just kind of starts crusting. That sounds disgusting. That's the only way I could describe it, crusting. Yeah.
Yo. If anybody knows how to do that, how to feather hair, you can't touch my hair. But if you want to do it on your own hair and send us an instructional video.
I mean, I would attempt to show you on this, but it would never work.
Okay, not for nothing. If you could feather locks,
I could feather locks.
That would be the coolest thing ever.
Maybe. All right. Well, I got a new crafting project. Let me get my crochet hooks out. See what I can do.
Oh, that's a whole new show. We're going to be whole new show on a Pop Culture Co-op.
Yeah, it'll be like
feathering hair.
Loretta has to shave her head because she done fucked up. That's what it's gonna be. I know, it'd be so sad.
Oh my
it'd
God.
be like a tragedy.
Just don't glue them back on.
I will not glue them back
That's
on.
all I have to say. That's
No.
all I have to say. Don't glue them back on.
I won't do it.
Don't glue them back on.
So Blake comes in and he's like, you know, it's not going to be that bad if Matthew and Claudia come over. Like, it's for business. Like, it has to happen. And she's like, all right, fine, I guess. But also, I'm sad. And he's like, why are you sad? She's like, because the servants treat me like shit. So.
And it's not the servants. We all know who it is. It's Joseph.
It's Joseph. So Blake does what any normal person would do. He calls down to Joseph and he's like, wake everyone up.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah, you know what? It would have been better if he had done what that girl from the Bad Girls Club did with the trash cans and was like,
wake up!
Yeah, he has everyone wake up and assemble in the kitchen in their night clothes, which is
Not for nothing though. There's a part of me that's like, for a house that big, there should be an intercom.
right.
There should be an intercom.
They had bells in Downton,
See? And they didn't even have electricity.
and he has like a jet phone. So yeah, I don't understand why it went down this way.
Exactly.
But it did. So everyone's standing in the dark in the kitchen.
In their bathrobes.
Yeah.
Which,
and
by the way, all of them have bathrobes.
that's amazing because I would have been like naked. I would have had like a sheet around me being like,
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so Blake demands that they get up and he's like, this is Mrs. Blake Carrington. I'm like, oh, she ain't got no name now? She's only someone because of you. Yeah, which, yes, in Blake's world, yeah.
That is correct.
And he's like, you know, she's my wife and you're going to do what she says. And then he does the shadiest thing. He basically goes down the line of people and insults each one of them. He's like, this is Michael, and he ain't shit because blah, 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 blah. This is Miss So-and-so. She steals from me, but it's fine.
Her whole family is eating on my tab.
Squab, probably.
Well, that's the thing. If you were stealing something that was a little more substantial, like a roast, you gotta steal like 8,000 squabs to feed a family. Damn.
That's true. So he basically says, and Crystal's kind of like, oh, this is weird. He's like, no, I'm just telling you about their small deficiencies.
Oh, let me go on. And then keeps going.
Keeps going. Like humiliating all of them. And then he gets to poor Leon. So Leon takes the brunt of everything, and he basically tells, you know, he starts questioning Leon. He's like, why didn't you put fresh flowers in the room? Even though he's like, yeah, I don't like fresh flowers, but my wife does. How was Leon supposed to know that? You know whose instructions he was following? Joseph's.
So poor Leon gets the brunt of Blake's
That's right.
I would say bullshit.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say his anger.
No,
Gets
it's bullshit.
the brunt of his bullshit. And even though Leon has worked for the Carrington family for 10 years, he says he's done a great job. He fires him. He fires him and walks out of the kitchen.
And he's like, oh, but you can leave tomorrow. I'm like, great. So I get to spend the night tonight worrying about like how I'm going to eat.
Well, he's already in his bathroom.
I mean, I guess. I would have been like, I quit now.
I don't know. I mean, how are you going to hitchhike all the way down that long ass driveway?
I would have taken a car, some squab, some duck.
Some squab, call it a day.
Like, I took this, and this.
Make it by morning time.
Take that tiki lamp. Take it all.
Exactly.
Take
It's
it
all
all.
mine. It's mine. Well, it's true. But he gets fired. And Crystal's aghast.
He's aghast. But then Blake's like, don't worry. Joseph will call me, and I'll give him his job back, and everyone will think I'm a hero. False.
First
Like,
of all,
no.
First of all, that is some toxic, nasty shit.
Yeah.
Also, let's talk about the disgusting classism that is going on here.
Yeah.
Blake is playing with people's lives.
He is.
He's playing with people's lives.
And loving it.
And loving it. He's playing with Crystal's life, and he even says to her, you know, you're being too soft. You're being too soft with the kids. You're being too soft with the staff. I'm going to teach you how to run this house.
Yeah. Yikes.
Ooh.
It's not good.
Now,
It's not good.
and that was a very big change from the beginning.
Yeah.
Where Blake kind of seemed more open and welcoming to Crystal, letting her do her own thing. Oh, this is what she wants. And Steven was the one, though, who stepped in and stood up for Crystal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
Blake
she's on
ain't,
her own.
Blake ain't shit.
No, she's on her own.
Blake ain't shit.
And that links us to our very last scene.
It's true.
So exciting.
So who was Fallon waiting for on her date?
I wonder. It was Cecil Colby. The very man who is doing his best, despite his incredible attraction to Fallon, to set Fallon up with his nephew, Jeff.
It's true. I thought you were going to say who's doing Fallon, which is also true.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to make a sex joke, so I'm just going to be blatant about it.
If the sex joke's there, it's always there.
It's always there.
So Fallon is basically telling Cecil, like, you can get it. Like, my body is ready.
I mean, she's literally splayed on a car at one point.
She's leaned across like this fancy car.
Feathers, just welcoming
him.
So
good.
She
looks really good.
She just wants him to mess up that top knot.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And Cecil says, like, you are smart, you are beautiful. Like you are my type. Mm-hmm. But we can't be together. Like, I need you to be with Jeff, and that's because he wants to create a
Dynasty. Oh yeah, we went there. We did.
So that because Colby Co has the money that Blake Carrington needs, and so he's basically saying, like, look, if you marry Jeff, like, I'll save your dad's company
immediately. And this is where we get to see that Fallon, you know, the love for her father is really what is pushing her here.
That's right.
It's not about what she wants. It's about bailing out her father.
Yeah.
And not for nothing, we touched on this also. I mean, Cecil Colby is the version of her father that she can be with.
That's right.
You know, I mean, we all talk about daddy issues. I'm not here to say whatever, but she got daddy issues. They're there. And Cecil is the version of the older man, this powerful man who she can be with. That's who she wants, you know. But Cecil presents it to her by saying, you know, Jeff is a good man.
She could do worse.
She 100% could do worse.
Jeff
we already
is
know
handsome, that he's nice.
He's nice. He doesn't hate the gays. He just hates poor people.
Yeah,
totally fine. We already know.
He likes solar energy.
He
He can play tennis.
He can play. Kind of. She beat him at tennis.
And then hit him with.
That part was funny, though. That part was funny. But, you know, he says to her, there is a lot of potential in Jeff. He just needs someone there behind him to push him forward. And I think, honestly, for all of Cecil saying that he's not a feminist, you know, he's really trying to give Fallon the tools that she needs to be powerful. Because Blake is not. Blake is taking those tools away from her by marrying her off, while Cecil is trying to give her those tools back by marrying her to Jeff.
Well, he gives her some really good advice. He says, good advice.
Good advice.
I mean, in a Machiavellian world, this is sage advice. He says, passion dies, power remains.
And that's very true.
And it's up to Fallon to teach Jeff how to come into his power.
That's very true.
And she was like, well, what if I marry Jeff and then I do him dirty? And Cecil's like, vengeance is as sweet as sex, so don't screw it up.
Ooh, and let me tell you, Fallon gets a little wet when he says that.
Oh, it's so...
She's ready.
And Cecil is aroused.
I mean, I was aroused.
They're both like, she's like,
I was aroused.
Vengeance, you said.
I mean, they definitely climb back in that car.
Oh, yeah.
And they're ready. They have their handshake deal. Yeah. Fallon's going to do it. She's going to marry Jeff.
And they're going to live happily ever after. Exactly.
Cecil's going to do her in the back of the limo. It's going to be totally fine.
Oh, I totally imagine that she, like, maybe has sex with Cecil on her wedding day. I think so. Oh, my God.
Is there an episode for that?
I don't know, but I like BRB gonna write some fanfic.
Yo, seriously?
Yeah,
seriously.
Like, I think it's gonna happen. And so we leave with
Fallon and Cecil driving away. Now, for all of Fallon's assuredness, she don't look that sure about this deal that she just made.
Yeah.
Because I will say that even though, you know, she is getting a good deal here, Fallon's used to be able to do whatever the fuck she wants.
Yeah.
And
this is new for her.
She is giving up her freedom.
But it's worth it, right? Because it's for her dad. We hope.
I mean, that in and of itself is a little bit messed up.
All right, everyone. My dog wants in on this action.
Chance agrees.
Let's see if I can get her to face the camera.
Hi, everybody. Oh, look how cute.
She's like, no.
She's like, no.
She's like, get off of me, you monster.
See, not everybody wants to be famous. It's totally
not everybody. Yeah. So... yeah, so it's that wraps up episode 3.
What a shitty honeymoon.
Yeah, it's really bad. It's not great.
Not the honeymoon that I would have wanted or planned for. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So as we know, we have started a new exciting game.
That's right.
Here at Wine and Dynasty, where at the end of every episode, we nominate one of our favorite characters for our high school superlatives. So, Larita, who is your big winner this week?
Okay, so this week my high school superlative is Best twins.
Ooh,
That's right.
Yes.
We've got Matthew rocking a blue vest.
Love
a la,
it.
Activist DeRay McKesson. And as soon as I saw him in that blue vest, I thought of DeRay.
Yes.
It made me think of, I was at this a student leadership conference, and DeRay was the guest speaker, and I tried to sneak in and they wouldn't let me because they were like, it's for students only. And I remember I was so sad. I was excited for the kids, but like so jealous that they got to see DeRay. But I love the blue vest energy. I love DeRay's in a lot of pictures you see of DeRay, he's not smiling. I love the big smile.
It's a beautiful
and
smile.
I love that he's like, yeah, I like my vest.
I do. Yeah.
And-
Well, the question is though, who wore it better?
You know, DeRay.
DeRay, obviously.
I mean, DeRay, obviously. Look at that smile.
Obviously.
Stylish. But I mean, I'm just gonna see someone with a blue vest. Like maybe they're just a good person. That's the code. Blue vest.
Blue vest, good person.
Blue vest crew.
Blue vest crew. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I gotta break out my
So
blue
that's
vest
my
now.
high school superlative.
That's our
Best
high school-
twins.
I like that. See, yours are so positive.
I mean, it's only the third episode.
I know, but like so far you're like wore it best. You know, who did it better? I'm out here like kinky queen Fallon and big ass bitch Joseph.
Yes.
Most likely to spit in your food,
Yeah.
to blow his nose in your sheets. Okay.
And to make sure you get the piece of quail with the most shot in it.
That is correct. Now, let me tell you, if Joseph is in charge of your plate, you're getting a grizzly ass piece of meat. You're getting that corked wine.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, corked wine.
That you're getting that corked wine. He's gonna sit you on the sunny side of the balcony so that all the sun is in your face.
man.
That is correct. That is correct. So
You know what's up.
Oh, I do. So my high school superlative, most likely to spit in your food, but not your face, is Joseph.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it.
Yes.
Man, we had a big show today. This is our longest yet.
We did. We did.
We had a lot. We had thoughts and feelings.
Us, thoughts, feelings?
Feelings?
I don't.
I mean, that's kind of what we do around here.
It's true.
All right,
It's
let's
true.
tell the good people how they can find us.
Fantastic. So, if you glance down, I'm going to try to. Oh, I did it this time.
You
Yes.
did it.
If you glance down at our lovely banner, you'll see you can find us, Larita and Alex, at Wine and Dynasty on Instagram and Twitter.
And Twitter.
And Twitter and the tweeters and the tweeters.
That's right.
That's right. Follow us, please, because we only have like 2 followers, and we're trying to learn how to tweet.
My mama won't even follow us.
I don't even have a Twitter to follow us at, so please follow us. And you can also follow along Pop Culture Co-op on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and of course Twitch.
That's right. So not next week, but the week after, because we're a bi-weekly show for now. You can watch season 1, episode 4 of Dynasty. I don't even know what the title is.
I don't. While Larita's looking it up,
That's right.
to tell us what our title is going to be for our next episode, the next show on.
It's the dinner party.
Oh, y'all.
Yeah.
So I already know what's going to happen. I can tell you: stinky carpet, brocade,
yes.
corked wine because Joseph's a dick,
Oh yeah.
squab because no duck,
That's right.
awkwardness.
Will there be a slap? I'm guessing no slap next week.
Probably not. They have to
Probably
build up for more slaps.
Yeah.
I feel like once Alexis gets here, it's gonna be slap-a-palooza.
She doesn't come in until like episode 20, so we've got.
I know, we have
There's
so
got
much
to be
to
a slap in between there.
You got a full-on slap,
full-on
a connected slap.
So, friends, you have 2 weeks to watch season 1, episode 4 of Dynasty. You can find it on Amazon Prime. You can find it on YouTube. I think you can find it on Vudu.
Vudu, yep.
Yeah, so you can buy those episodes. It's totally worth it. Totally worth it.
Absolutely. And while you're watching Dynasty, you can also hop on Hulu and watch The Bachelor. So the next show up on Twitch will be tomorrow evening at 8 to 9 p.m., which is Every Rose Has Its Thorn with Stacy and EJ.
That's
so
right.
watch yourself The Bachelor, watch yourself some Dynasty,
And come back and see us.
and come back and see us right here on Twitch.
All right. It sounds like a plan.
I think that is the plan. Maybe just Chance want to say goodbye. No, Chance is done.
she's done.
Chance
She's
is
done
done for
with
the
me.
evening. So thank you so much, everybody, for joining us.
Thank
it was
you so much.
an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for joining me for my first produced show.
Hey.
I have no idea what's about to happen when I try to log off. So again, thank you for humoring us. Wonderful to see you. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.